Undisputed.
Here we go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome into Undisputed. I'm Jen Hale alongside Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Hi, guys. How are we today?
Good morning, good morning.
Well, wonders never cease. Would you believe LeBron and the Lakers are finally a road favorite tonight? It took forever, but they're finally a favorite by 2 points over an Indiana team that came from 17 down to beat them at the Crib back in November.
Let's talk about that law firm.
Wow.
And I saw Joel Embiid finally beat the Magic.
Huh.
Finally.
Wait, are we talking about the same Magic who have beaten the Celtics three times?
Whoa.
3 times
Did
already.
they beat Joel Embiid?
Once, but they beat everybody.
Beat the brakes off them.
They beat Golden State twice. They beat Dallas. They beat Phoenix.
Did they beat Go James?
Yeah.
Did they beat Go James? No, we blew the doors off them.
Can't even remember.
In front of a sold-out
Let's
crowd.
do this,
Oh, yeah.
guys.
Yeah, you remember.
Oh, that's one of the rare
Got some-
We're going
wins
to
that you
unpack
Indy tonight, too. Got something for Indy.
all things NBA, gentlemen, I promise. But let's start with that huge news from yesterday morning on the football field. One, Tom Brady announcing his retirement. Jeff Tarlington is now reporting that in Brady's mind, his options were to either retire or return to the Buccaneers. He's also reporting that Brady felt exhausted at the end of the season and left everything he had out on the field. Shannon, what do you make of Darlington's report?
Brady wasn't returning to Tampa. Skip, he couldn't win with what he had. You told me his offensive line wasn't good enough. You told me Mike Evans and Chris Godwin wasn't good enough. You told me the running game lacked. So why would he
Well, it
return?
didn't lack. It was dead last.
Okay, so what were they going to do in the offseason? Make a trade for Trent Williams and Zach Martin and then sign Josh Jacobs in free agency? Or maybe they can make a trade for Tyreek or get some younger, faster receivers. So why would he return? We saw Tom Brady bolt New England when he realized he didn't have enough talent offensively.
Although I think he got pushed out.
Well, he didn't go fighting and screaming, did he? Like, okay.
No.
So I'm just trying to figure. He realized it now, Skip, what you started to see, the fact that you said, well, I would hate to see him go be a mercenary because it was going to require more and more talent on the offensive side just to get Tom Brady to do what he routinely did with lesser-tier receivers, with lesser-tier offensive line. So why would he go back at 46 and be behind a beat-up, bad offensive line when he couldn't get it done at 45? And so what? If Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, are they going to get faster, Skip?
No.
Are they going to run different routes?
No.
So Byron Leftwich got fired. So how do we know you're going to get an offensive coordinator that's going to be better than what Byron Leftwich was? Somebody that's going to have to learn. This is what Tom likes to call on first down, second down, third down. This is what he likes to call in this area of the field.
That is true.
This down and distance.
I agree.
So it takes time for you to figure out what a guy likes. So, Skip, look. I'm not saying that Jeff Darlington is wrong, but I just don't believe Tom Brady was going back to Tampa.
I think the point is it was Tampa or nothing.
Right? I believe it was nothing.
Okay.
I believe retirement was his only option, considering how bad it went in Tampa, given what was there in Tampa. Skip, how are they going to get better when they're damn near probably $50, $60 million over the cap to begin? At least 25, 30.
I agree. And by the way, you first guessed this. You said you're paying a whole lot of money to players who have been around for a long time, and you might effectively be paying them for what they did instead of what they can do going forward.
But they was hell-bent, Skip, on bringing. No team had ever brought back all 22 starters from a Super Bowl winning team.
Ever. And to your credit, you said be careful.
Be careful doing that, Skip.
Okay.
And so for me, I think it was nothing. I think retirement was the only option unless he left and went somewhere else, and he got with a team that had more talent, substantial upgraded talent than what he had at Tampa. Like when he left New England, the talent on the offensive side of the football was substantially better than what he had in New England. And the defense was younger and better than what he had in New England.
I agree.
So unless he goes to a situation that was a la Tampa 2-3 years ago, Skip, I just didn't see it working out for him. I believe this was the best option for Tom Brady, which was to retire. Because here's the thing, Tom. I don't care how great you are at a sport. You get too old to play football. You get too old to play basketball or baseball. You don't get too old to talk. Bring your butt on over here. Bring your butt on over here to Pico, Skip. You won't necessarily be in this building, but you'll be up under the Fox umbrella.
You will.
And you can talk. As long as you play football, you can have at least that length of career talking in that booth.
He will be welcome whenever he's ready.
Yes.
Okay, back to the report. I do believe that Brady has high loyalty in him. He believes in loyalty. He was loyal to a cause in New England that finally wasn't loyal to him.
Correct.
And I think it ripped his competitive soul out.
Oh,
I'm not sure he's ever going to get over that one.
No, you won't.
Because it did not end the way it was supposed to end.
Right.
He should have ended there.
Right.
Somehow, some way, I don't know. But it was meant for him to end there. And you know how that felt. You know what happened to you in Denver. It was, you were going to be in the Hall of Fame, so it was going to fit for you just to end it once and for all in Denver, right?
Yes.
It doesn't work that way.
Skip, remember we talked about LeBron?
Yeah.
When you invest so much in something and when it doesn't go your way, the relationship in New England, think about how much he invested. Then all of a sudden, somebody on the other end of the relationship didn't want him.
Okay, and I believe he was it. He was the biggest reason by far that they were that they were a dynasty.
Yes. Oh.
And I think that's come clearer and clearer since he left.
I can't fight you anymore.
Okay. But the point was, I think Kraft is weighing, Tom's up there, and Tom was in the same, Kraft is in the same camp. A whole lot of people, including you, were in like, is Tom about to lose it? Is he about to fall off the proverbial cliff?
Correct.
This is the end of New England, because the last pass he throws in New England gets pick six by Logan Ryan, right?
Who later became a teammate.
I know, became a teammate. Okay, so it ended horribly in New England, given the fact that he's on his way to being the GOAT.
Right.
All right, so all of a sudden, many of the naysayers, many of the doubters are saying, Tom, it's time to go on home. You've been told by New England it's time for you just to go on home.
Correct.
And instead he says, no, I've got something left here. And we're kind of scouring the countryside saying, well, where exactly is he going to go? And nobody could see this coming except for him.
Right.
And I got to tell you, this was a genius move on his part. You got to give him credit, because I didn't see it, you didn't see it, nobody predicted it.
Nope.
He said, wait a second, that team down there, all the way down there in Florida, that team that went 7-9 last year, they're loaded.
Central Florida.
Wow. Wait a second. They got 2 Pro Bowl receivers, 2 guys who made the Pro Bowls.
Right.
Mike Evans, Chris Godwin made the Pro Bowl.
Right.
And wait a second. That defense coached by Todd Bowles, it was coming alive. I told you down the stretch of the season before he got there, the last 6 or 7 games, they started to look like a top 5 defense.
Well, they were a playoff team if Jameis done turned the ball over 35 times.
He turned it over 35 times, and it tears up everything that you're trying to accomplish. It undercuts everything. As you know, turnover, it's the whole story. And he says, well, I think I got a shot there. And Tampa said, we welcome you with open arms. What can we do for you? Well, you could get me Antonio Brown if you could.
Right.
And this guy Gronk that I know, he's my best buddy. You know, could we figure out a way to get him in here? Sure, we can do that.
Exactly.
What else do you need? Well, let's do this, just this. I can't remember, was Lenny Fournette there yet?
No, they signed Leonard Fournette in free agency.
All right, we need him.
They drafted Tristan Wirth.
They did.
They traded up to get him.
Okay. They did everything Tom needed. They turned it over to him and said, you do this. And he did it.
Right.
And they're in a pandemic year, and he turns it around, turns it up on its head. Talking about standing on your head. They flipped the script completely and go from 7-9 to winning the Super Bowl. It's unheard of.
Yeah.
It was I believe, his greatest achievement for a whole season. And I believe that he developed a lot of loyalty, a feeling of deep loyalty for them.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact from a very high-placed source in that front office that they badly wanted him to come back, and they were doing everything in their power to say, let's try it again. But to your point, Tom's looking at like, I don't see a way out of this one. How can we be a little bit better than last year? Well, they were 8-10.
Right.
Well, can you be a lot better? Can you turn it completely around? It sure doesn't look like it, because they're so strapped against the cap.
But Skip, even if they're a little better, are they close to